Yo, what's up guys, TTarantox back here bringing you guys yet another WWE pay-per-view predictions video. This time we're talking about tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. Yes, that's right, tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. They added the stairs aspect because it's going to be the first ever stairs match. Awesome shit. But anyway, before I even get into my predictions, you guys already know how this goes. If you're new to the channel, please let me know what your predictions are below. I love reading what you guys have to say, responding to it. I love the conversation. Keep the conversation going in the comments below. And if you enjoy this, just hit that like button because it's awesome. It helps me out a bit. Also, let me know also if you agree with anything I say, why you agree with me, why you disagree with me, and all that jazz. But let's jump into this. First off, we have the kickoff show match, which is going to be the New Day versus Golden Stardust, which I think it's a given that the New Day is going to win, just because Golden Stardust are kind of still heel, and I think they might be building towards their separation. I'm not sure, but it seems like they've kind of been on the losing end of a lot of matches lately. So I'm just thinking this might be one of the ones that is just going to be a really prominent loss. And plus, the New Day, this is their first pay-per-view, their first pay-per-view appearance together. So I mean, I got to go with New Day, especially I think that they're probably going to do it looks like it's going to be Kofi and Big E, seeing as how Kofi faced Stardust and beat him on Raw, and Big E faced Goldust and beat him on SmackDown. And of course, this is going up on Wednesday, December 10th, 2014. SmackDown happened, if you don't know, SmackDown is recorded on Tuesdays and then aired on Fridays. But the results are already out for SmackDown on Tuesday, so I already know the Big E beat Goldust, which is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm guessing it's going to go Kofi and Big E against the Golden Stardust, because that's how they do, with Xavier Woods just taking the backseat and being the manager at the ringside of the match or whatever. So I'm going with Big E and Kofi to pick this up, New Day over Golden Stardust. Next up, we have a match that they actually revisited, which is pretty much interesting, or a rivalry I should say, which happens to be Rusev versus Swagger. Now, I would have never thought they was going to bring this back, but it actually kind of makes sense because they started this feud. They were the first ones. Swagger was the first one to try to get up on Rusev, right when he was bashing America. And it kind of comes in full circle in my mind, and where Swagger got bopped and everybody else tried it, and then they kept getting bopped, and then now Swagger's just all right, I'm back, which kind of gives him that edge, okay, I've sat, I've studied, I licked my wounds, and I'm prepared to go. I know what to do to beat your ass, son. So I'm hyped for this match just because I think they're finally going to give Swagger yet another push that he deserves and give this man a U.S. championship. Because when's the last time Swagger was kind of relevant with a title? Exactly. So it'll be awesome to see Swagger actually get some relevancy, that actually, he deserves, I think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. I didn't go into too much detail because I have more things I need to talk about in other matches that are just so much more worthy, like this next one, Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in a TLC match. Are you kidding me? This match is going to be epic as hell. Now, we saw Bray win last pay-per-view via disqualification because Ambrose was like, oh, you don't think I'm going to hit you with a chair? I'm going to hit you with a chair anyway. Now, my money here is going on Dean Ambrose. Why Dean Ambrose? Because if you've noticed, a lot of the feuds that Bray is in the final match or whatever, Bray always loses. He can never really win the big one. It's just he always loses. I just don't know why, but it's just Bray, he starts a feud, he gets the first victory, and then the second victory, if they keep the feud going or whatever, he loses. I think the only exception was Chris Jericho when Jericho won, because Jericho wasn't going to be around that much longer, but it doesn't really matter. My money here is Dean Ambrose, because Dean Ambrose has been hot throughout the feud. He came back with that freaking ambulance and just bopped Bray Wyatt on Raw. He kind of threw a steel chair and it bounced and smacked Bray in the head. And I know that shit hurt, but I think this is gonna be an epic match, one of the best matches on the card, to be honest. Because it's Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. These two are ready to show up and be like, yo, we got this on lock. You cannot stop us. I think this might be the hypest match, or at least a close second, because I mean that Ziggler and the Ziggler and Harper match is going to be hyped too. But again, my money is on Dean Ambrose because he's just been hot through this whole thing. Bray Wyatt doesn't really win the big one when it comes to the rivalries. So once that happens, I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. just because it seems like Dean will probably go into a contention for a title. I don't know, but Bray Wyatt is going to lose this to Ambrose. Now, speaking of the aforementioned match that I alluded to before, the IC title is on the line against Ziggler. Harper's going to be defending it against Ziggler in the ladder match, and where I know it's WWE and they don't really like to change titles. They don't like to just switch titles all willy-nilly at pay-per-views. But I know I already predicted that that Swagger's going to come out with the U.S. title. I think I can say that Ziggler's going to come back. He's going to come out with the IC title just because they've been really trying to push this man ever since Team Cena. They had him get jumped and they had him come out on top time after time after time. Now, Ziggler comes back. If he wins his title, that's going to be hype for him. It'll just put him back up there. And I think, honestly, like, Luke Harper, what does he really add to the, to the roster with the title? He doesn't really add anything to it. He has, no excitement. Sure, he's a big man that can move. He's got agility and all that jazz. But, I mean, Ziggler, he's just the one. He's the show-off. Everybody loves Ziggler. He brings the hype. It's not like Harper gets, a lot of boos. He doesn't really excite the crowd as much. Even if you get a boo or a cheer, he doesn't get that. So, I mean, I don't really think he fits with the title. So, I mean, it'd be really perfect for Ziggler to pick his title back up. And I know I said about a good 7,000 times in the last 2 seconds. But hey, that's how I roll. But again, IC title is going back to Ziggler because Ziggler, I mean, he deserves it. And they're really trying to push Ziggler. Let's just hope that he doesn't have a run-in with Swagger. And then Swagger, injures him again and costs him his title. Good old Swagger. Anyway, next up, speaking of titles, I mean, I could segue, be like, oh yeah, that's back when he was the world title, when he had AJ in his corner. Speaking of AJ, he's going to be facing up against Nikki for her title. And this is a match where all right, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I love AJ. I want her to be Divas champion. But again, I'm tired of AJ as Divas champion. And as much as I like Nikki, I still think AJ is going to win. She's going to come out on top. And then maybe, cross my fingers, maybe AJ comes out on top. She wins her title. Charlotte gets called up after she possibly drops her title to Sasha Banks. Charlotte gets called up since she was on Raw with the match against Natalya. Maybe she gets called up and then she gets the Divas title. That would be amazing. Get a feud between them or something like that. But, I mean, Nikki as the champion, I like Nikki, but the fact that she's on Total Divas just kind of has that, it just has it looming over my head that, oh, she's not going to be champion for long since, they have the show being shot so many months in advance, and it gets rid of a lot of, mystery and, continuity between the show and what happens in the ring. So I think that this is going to be a small title run for Nikki. She's just going to drop it back to AJ because that's what AJ does. She loses the title and she gets it right back at the next pay-per-view. Because she's AJ Lee, and that's what she does. Next up, we have this match. This is the very first Steel Stairs match. Eric Rowan versus Big Show. Honestly, I want Eric Rowan to win. But then again, I mean, it's the Big Show. Come on. Steel Stairs match. They might just give it to Rowan, though. So they're trying to push Rowan since, I mean, Big Show he's reprised his role as a heel, as the biggest heel in the WWE locker room. Literally, because he's 7 foot tall. Anyway, they reprised his role as the heel, and then pretty much anybody that beats Big Show as a heel, they try to push them and get them over. So I'm thinking they're going to try to push Eric Rowan over that hump that he has yet to even get it up to. They're trying to really be like, oh yeah, he's this prodigy and he's pretty mysterious and he's good and stuff. I like Rowan. I would love to see him win, but I just have doubts that he's not going to win. My mind is saying, yes, get Eric Rowan, but I'm really just no, Big Show's going to win. So I'm going to go with my gut saying the Big Show is definitely going to win this match, and that's going to be that. So it's going to leave both Harper and Rowan on the losing end. Maybe they'll come back together and become a tag team again. Who knows? I doubt it, since Rowan has a new entrance music, but that's besides the point. But speaking of tag teams, we have the tag team title match, which is going to be The Miz and Mizdow versus the Usos. Now, I can see this going one of two ways, guys. And, oh my gosh. See, all right, check this out. I'm going to lay a little spoiler on you guys. Since SmackDown is recorded on Tuesdays, I happen to know that during a tag team match, or after, like, it was Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, I think they were facing the Usos. I'm not sure. Or the Miz and Mizdow, I don't remember. But after Cesaro and Tyson Kidd were in the ring, there was a promo for the Ascension, meaning that the Ascension has been called up and they're going to be coming to the main roster very soon, which is going to be awesome. Now, I can see this going one way, or two ways actually. Either Miz and Mizdow pick up the victory, and then the Ascension come through and they bop them and take the titles and like, we're the real tag team. Or the Miz and Mizdow finally get a little bit of dissension between them, seeing as how Mizdow is more popular than Miz, and Miz finally gets annoyed with it, or Mizdow gets annoyed with him taking the credit for it. And then they have differences, and then the Usos grab the titles, which will force them to have another rematch later down the line, in which I could see the Usos picking it up and then saying, we're the true tag team. Like after they retain the titles, and then the Ascension comes through like, yo, what's good? We're in here, we about to take the titles, and then they go in and take the titles. Now, the one that I really want to see, honestly, I want to see the Usos get this victory. Why the Usos? They've been tag team champions so many times this year. Because they are legit, like, even the Slammies, they tell you, but they are legit the best tag team right now in the freaking WWE. I mean, don't get me wrong, Miz and Mizdow are cool, but they don't have that tag team chemistry. It's just kind of boring to watch. It's only really exciting to watch Mizdow because the pop he gets. So I'm going with the Usos to pick up this title victory. And then just later on have a feud with Ascension over the titles, because they have been called up. I've been freaking just saying this for years, not even years, like for months. I've been like, come on, call the Ascension up, call the Ascension up. You guys know. And I'm really hyped. I just cannot wait for the Ascension to come through, rise up, and be like, yo, we are in here. Give us what's ours. Because they've done everything they need to in NXT, and I'm just happy to see that promo. And if you haven't seen it, you can actually go ahead and Google it or YouTube it. Just search SmackDown Ascension. And somebody has uploaded it because they were in the stands or whatever. But I'm hype. Next up, we have one of the most boring matches on the card, I believe is going to be Ryback versus Kane in a chairs match. This right here, honestly, 100% is going to be this is going to be the bathroom break match, I believe. Just because it's like, dude, come on, at least in my mind. Ryback versus Kane. Ryback, I guess he's gotten better, you know, after he just goes around and hulks around and pushes people. But Kane, as he's getting older and older in his years, he can barely sell anything. There's a lot of moves I just look at Kane taking. I'm just like, really, Kane? Really, Kane? So there's that. I'm just going to go with the obvious choice of Ryback winning, which will probably have like somebody interfering for Kane, and then Ryback overcoming the odds and beating Kane. I don't really have much to say about this match just because I am not impressed with it. They could have had a better match. Like, they could have just put on like, oh, look, another Divas Battle Royal match. No, just not do that. But honestly, I don't care for this match. This is my least anticipated match on the card. And this is like legit like the first card in where I'm actually invested in a lot of the matches. You know, a lot of them minus this one match. And speaking of this one match, you know, this one match that I'm going to talk about next, the final match, is pretty damn obvious. I would say it's monumentous and it's going to be crazy to see what happens, but it's obvious. If you watch WWE like I do, it should be pretty obvious. John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a tables match. Great. So here's how this is going to go down. If Cena loses, he is no longer the number one contender for Brock Lesnar's title. If he wins, he gets to keep being the number one contender, which is like, okay, I feel you, but who cares? All right, honestly, here's my prediction right here. Let me stop dilly-dallying. John Cena is obviously going to win. Why is John Cena going to win? Because he's the golden boy. Seth Rollins is going to have Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. They're going to try to interfere. They're both probably going to end up through a table. Seth is going to, he's going to get really close to putting Cena through a table. Cena's going to turn around and AA him through a table. Watch. It's going to somehow, some way, he's going to get an AA through the table. It's going to be like a desperation AA. And he's going to be like, I won, hooray. Now, the reason why I see it going this way and not the other way is because if Cena is no longer number one contender for the title, how do you get it off of Brock Lesnar? I don't think Brock Lesnar is set to compete, or at least to finish title until Royal Rumble, which I believe that's when Roman Reigns is going to be coming back, so he can get his WrestleMania moment. I don't know, but they're going to get this title to Cena by WrestleMania, so I guess it's going to be the passing of the torch between Cena and Roman Reigns. That's my prediction for the future, but we'll see what happens with injuries and schedules and all that jazz later on down the line. For now, I say Cena's going to pick this victory up so he can keep his number one contendership against Lesnar, and then so they can get rid of the whole, oh, what about Lesnar's rematch clause against Cena? And you know Cena's not going to be able to bop him like that. It's going to go, Cena wins. He's going to beat Seth Rollins, going to face Brock Lesnar at the next pay-per-view. And as he does that, after he wins, I say Rollins will come and, you know, either bop Cena or Lesnar's going to get mad, F5 Cena. Rollins cashes in, gets the title for like, I don't know how long. After that, then they're going to both invoke the rematch clauses, which will have a triple threat title match at what, like Elimination Chamber maybe? Was that? That's the one. Is that the one that would be before? Yeah, the one right after Royal Rumble, before WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber. That's how I see it. It's going to be a triple threat title match: Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar for the title, and where John Cena is going to come out on top, making him, what, 17-time world champion, and then he's going to face the Royal Rumble winner, which will be Roman Reigns. I mean, that's the only obvious way I see it going. They could do another thing where it's just like, oh yeah, he wins, he beats Lesnar, and then it's going to be an Elimination Chamber match, but then it's going to be like, but we can't just throw out Lesnar's rematch clause, and you're not going to put Brock Lesnar in an Elimination Chamber match. That's not going to happen. So my money is going on Cena to win this. I'm getting super far ahead of myself. Cena wins and keeps his number one contendership, and then which is going to have a later on down the line triple threat match so they can get rid of Brock Lesnar out of the picture completely. And there's that. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Lesnar has to face Roman Reigns, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm done. I keep rambling. I have so many things going on in my brain about what's going to happen. But my most anticipated match, legit, in this on this card would have to be, oh man, I'd probably say Dean and Bray. That's going to be my most anticipated match. My least anticipated match, Ryback versus Kane. And my favorite story or possible storyline match is that tag team title match because the Ascension are coming through. But anyway, guys, I have rumbled on long enough, way longer than I expected. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you enjoyed my predictions, hit that like button below. Let me know in the comments what you thought about my predictions. If you liked them, if you hated them, let me know what yours are. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say except the Ascension will rise. Peace out.
Rusev reverses it. Uh-oh, trying to put him away. What a move! He may get the 3 count right here.